The only annoying thing about this camera is that you can't disable the flash, which is quite annoying. So so when you're like shooting into reflection, I cover my hand over this and it's quite warm because it's like a bare bell flash. So I don't know, I think this is more like it's definitely quite wide. I'd say it's like maybe like a 24mm, but it's square, so it's quite hard to tell how wide it is in a way. The distortion's not too bad. So there's like a guide here for your distance. So if you want to take somebody who's 2 to 4 feet away, so if I was to take a picture of you right now, I'd switch this to 2 to 4 feet, and you sort of have to hold it, and basically, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? What that does is it slides, oh no, you really can't see it. It slides a little magnifier across the lens at the back, which basically decreases the focusing distance. But generally, it's quite hard to focus that way, so I would always just try and get a good distance away. So I mean, I guess like portraits, I guess Polaroids back in the day, if you look at anybody like Wim Wenders, for example, it was very much like a travel kind of camera. He had one of the folding ones. This doesn't fold, it's about the size of a breeze block. But I definitely say they're more geared towards like sort of holiday snaps, as it were. But you can use them for portraits. People do adapt Polaroid cameras. You can get Polaroid backs for medium format film cameras like the Hasselblads, but generally I'd say anything that's sort of in your environment, like a landscape versus a portrait. I wouldn't use it as much for portraits. I'd use it for grander scenes, anything a bit wider. It's not subtle, that's for sure. Could you hear it from where you were? Thank you, pouch. Generally the most useful bit of a photography kit, little smock. Essential photography gear is a coat with a pouch for all your goodness. And also pockets galore. You never know when you're going to need a pocket. And be careful, I've only got 3 shots left on this roll, so. So you might be wondering why I keep keeping these or transferring them into this little pouch. Is because with film like this, it can continue to develop after you've actually taken the photo. So it's good to get it into a nice dark place once you've taken the image as soon as possible. That basically stops the film becoming overexposed and you losing all the detail in your Polaroid. This one's nice. It's a little bit hot in here, but I tend to think overexposing by a little bit is generally a good thing, because even though it's hot here, it's still quite dark here, which is annoying. This is really nice. I like this. I like this sort of flaring that's going on here. It's quite nice. And then this didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to, mainly because this isn't like, you don't view through the viewfinder, it's like a rangefinder-esque kind of camera. So everything's a little bit off. Something to keep in mind if you're ever shooting Polaroid, I guess.
They're pretty good ones. They're like this Australian brand called Quay.
It's not
Quay
pronounced
such a
K.
nicer word.
It's key, you sausage. I'm gonna try and get a bit of flair. Thank you, 6'2". Oh. That's it. Not made for tall people. Maybe not actually. Don't actually know. Might guess this one. Could go terribly wrong. I'm going to use my phone as a periscope. I'm out of film. After all that. Has this still got one in it? Oh. This is important to note. If your Polaroid camera says that you've got 10 sheets of film, but your Polaroid pack says you've got 8, remember that when you're counting down, it gets 2 and you think you've got 2 left, but you've actually got none. So I thought I'd talk very briefly about my general thoughts and feelings about the experience of shooting with a Polaroid camera. First things first, with this camera, it's not small. It's a big old camera. I carry around my Fuji because it's a small camera. The form factor, in the grand scheme of things, is very, very small. This is the size of a brick. It's big, it's bulky. The flash goes off. People recognize when you're taking a picture on Polaroid because it's like the sun just going off in the corner of wherever you are, which is one of my big frustrations with this camera. So yeah, it's a big camera. The build isn't fantastic. Like, it's a bit plasticky. It's a bit gross. There are nicer models available, like the I think it's the SX70 line of Polaroid cameras is quite nice. So maybe if you're looking for a bit more of an upmarket Polaroid, give that a whack. You'll probably enjoy it a lot more than something like this. And it's expensive, you know. This is one of the cartridges. I think a single one of these costs about £15, meaning that each image you take, if there's 8 images in a slide of film, it's about £2, which is expensive. There are like Instax mini cameras, which I think it equates to about 50p an image. So, you know, there are more affordable options out there. I just really wanted to shoot with a larger format Polaroid 600 camera, so I had to sort of make a trade-off somewhere. But the biggest thing about shooting with Polaroids is that it is a very, very charming way of creating images. There's no other camera where you can take an image and then 15 minutes later, or however long it takes for your particular Polaroid to develop, you get a print. You get a physical thing that you can hold, which is, you know, it's not something that everybody gets, especially if you shoot digitally and are not in the routine or in the habit of printing your own work, which you should be, by the way. I'm a guilty culprit. I do not print enough of my own work. So maybe that's where my fascination with Polaroid comes from, is that physical element of being able to hold a picture that you've literally just taken. And on top of that, they're cool to like take to parties. You can take snaps and give them to friends as gifts. So yeah, it's a very charming and sort of tactile way of creating photographs. So I've just loaded a second bit of film, like a second canister of film into here. I didn't take a second one out with me because I didn't think I was going to take that many pictures. As you saw, I wanted to take a picture and I ran out, which is slightly embarrassing. So expect a part 2 to this video. I just wanted to go for a wander with my Polaroid camera, take some snaps. So thank you very much everybody for watching this video. Thank you for your continued support on this channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you who interacts with the channel, who leaves likes, comments, subscribes, turns on the notifications. In fact, if you want to see part 2 of this video, turn on notifications because you'll be alerted as and when I do that. Never ever said that to camera. It was very strange. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching this video and I hope you have a lovely day.